Hello and welcome back to the channel. As always, I'd like to thank those of you who have watched the videos and have liked and subscribed to the channel. Thank you very much. I'll keep making them if you keep watching them. Also, a huge shout out to my good friends Julie, Carl, Luke and of course Craig at Vector Air who have kindly lent me this, which is the Epic Two long 550mm version of the rifle for review. Just a quick reminder, the guys at Vector Air will be at the Great British Shooting Show coming this Friday, the 23rd of February. They'll be there for 3 days, from Friday through to Sunday. They also have I believe 2 shooting lanes there where you'll be able to test, come out and try out the Epic Two along with some of the rifles that they have, some of the latest kit, like for example the caliber gun snipe. So please come along and say hi to those guys. I'll also be there too at the Great British Shooting Show, so if you see me, please feel free to come and say hi. Also, a huge shout out very quickly to the guys at Optics Warehouse, where I purchased this Vector Optics Minotaur 12 to 60 by 60, I believe it is. Finally, a huge shout out to my good friends Steve, Dennis, and of course the cheeky scouser Jeff at Atherton Indoor Range, where I did the testing for this rifle. Now, I want to give you my essentially overview review of having had this rifle for a good few weeks now. Quick disclaimer, halfway through testing, the rifle did go back to Vector Air to have its power levels adjusted. Having chronoed it, we weren't quite happy with it, and then subsequently the guys at Vector Air were fantastic. They quickly sorted it out, and when I did the retesting with the pellets that I found it liked, it was shooting bang on, and I'll show you those chrono results momentarily. Just starting off with, what do I think of the build quality of this rifle? In one word, it's amazing. It's superbly robust. It just oozes and accentuates quality right from the rear end of the stock in terms of its adjustability, the fact that it folds, the material used. It's so well machined. I love this cheek rest material. We commented on this at the range. My friend Steve there commented on this as well. It just feels really nice. It doesn't feel like cheap plastic at all. The stippling over here on the AR grip is really nice. The safety's got really nice defined clicks. The trigger is really nice to use. Cocking lever's very smooth. I can't comment on how smooth that is. The fact that the Arca Swiss underneath here is really great for attaching bipods, tripods, whatever you want, or even if you wanted to put a Picatinny attachment on there, adapter on there, that's great. The fact that you're not restricted to just using the Epic exclusive silencer. There is essentially this in the box which allows you to attach this onto the front of the shroud and use a 1/2" UNF. Just very quickly, one comment is that it is a very long rifle. Now, from the end of the butt, so to speak, just over here, I think it was about 40 inches long, and including the silencer, it was 45 inches long. So yeah, it's a very long rifle. In fact, it's the longest rifle I've tested, full stop, because this thing was hanging over the bench. So much so that I found it difficult to chrono this or find a place where the chrono would register. So I had to position this in such a way that it came back on the bench I was testing off. We used 7 Neo to rest it on so I could eliminate as much shooter error as I could. And even then, a lot of the barrel was hanging over the end. So again, this is a long rifle. So be mindful that if you are thinking about this as some form of pest control tool, I would definitely go for one of the shorter barrel versions. This is ideally made for the bench, this length rifle for definite. One thing I wanted to comment on now, I suppose, is one of my gripes. In fact, I probably think it's the only gripe I've got with this rifle, and that's the magazine. Now, you'd think, why have I got a gripe with this magazine? Well, look at it. It's first of all, it's a really well machined piece of kit. It's simple to use. You literally drop pellets in and rotate the drum. And you think, well, what's wrong with it? Well, the thing I found wrong with it is that because it's 14mm in depth, this thing's primarily designed for slugs, because the pellets I were testing, and I went through a number of different pellet types by manufacturers ranging from JSB through to H&N through to QYS. smaller pellet skirts go right through the hole. And you have to keep your finger on the bottom side whilst you're rotating the drum, which was awkward. And if you didn't do that, the pellets would fall right through. So here we have a tin of Barracuda FTs, the 9.57 grains. And these are the, turn them around and have a look. These are the 4.51s in size. Now, spoiler, these are the pellets that that particular rifle liked. These particular pellets. So naturally I was using these a lot. However, here's the test. Right, just very quickly, there's the magazine. As I was putting the pellets through here, this is what would happen. I'm just going to put a pellet into the hole like that, and then if I rotated the drum, oh, out it came the other side. So I was having to periodically, well, in fact, put my finger there and rotate the drum and drop pellets through, which I found awkward, in fairness. Yeah, because every time you'd put one through and then rotate the drum, it would come out the other side. They're 5.1s, okay? Now, these are 5.2s. JSBs, the 8.44s, 5.2s, okay? So, again, 5.2s, the magazine, over here. We'll drop a pellet in, rotate the drum. Now, this is a good thing. This is staying in place, which is good. However, sometimes the 5.2s, I've used this here just to push it out. The 5.2s would go through the hole as well. I mean, like, here's another 5.2. Let's just try it again. Sod's law, this will stay in now. I'll bet you. Let's just, trying to do this on camera as well is a bit difficult. There we go. Just a little nudge. There you go. Gone through. So again, I found periodically some 5.2s would stay and others wouldn't. And in fairness, I was trying predominantly 5.0s, 5.1s and 5.2s in skirt sizes, not 5.3s, to be fair. In fact, I hardly ever use 5.3s. And in that way, I found that all the pellets were going through here. And as a result, that periodically had an effect on the groupings, and I'll show you in a moment, and then I'll show you what happened when I shot single shot, okay? So let's quickly have a look at some of these groupings. So this is testing the rifle after it had just been cleaned with some cleaning pellets. I was using my old faithful JSB Exacts 8.44 grain 4.51s and 5.2s at 30 yards after an indoor range, and as you can see, it wasn't doing too bad. It was doing essentially fingernail groups at 30 yards. Not too bad with the 5.1s. And then I noticed this was going on. Okay. And at this point, I chronoed it and noticed that the power was fluctuating slightly. And again, with the 5.2s. So I thought, okay, something strange is amiss here. Let's try some different pellets. And at this point, I tried the 9.57 4.51 FTs, and then the Barracuda 8s in 8.44 grain at 4.50. Things were tighter. I noticed this. So you still get the odd pellet going off there, but then tighter groups, okay? And these are the FTs. And again, notice the odd pellet going in this direction there. That was a good group. And then these weren't as tight, but still not too bad. I only did those in fairness. And then following week, I used the QIS streamlined at 30 yards. Again, I found that you had this thing going on where some of the pellets were going here and some of them were going here. Over here, this was kind of becoming more and more consistent. Okay. So just before I called the guys at Vectra, just to let you know, this was with JSB Heavies 10.34s. I found the groups weren't as tight, okay? Not as tight, but still look at this, like that's a 5-shot group. And again, flyer, flyer, flyer. And these are 5.2, so I was getting, even with the 10.34s, the odd pellet which was kind of going through the magazine, and when you're essentially indexing it, I don't know whether or not that had an impact on its accuracy. Anyway, at this stage, the rifle went back, had power adjustments, did further testing, came back, and this is what it did. So first of all, just to let you know, when I thought, right, I'm going to test it again for this review, but I'm going to use specifically just the FTs because it liked them the best. And I'm going to try it 30 yards, but this time I'm going to do half the group with a magazine and half the group single shot. Now, I'll tell you what happened. This is what happened first of all. Again, just to show you fingernail groups at 30 yards. Great. These are zeros, by the way. There's a 3-shot group, and again over here, slightly out. There's the good group. Again, that's a line. There's a good group. Again, slightly off. And at this point, I thought I'm going to try single shot. Apart from that one, look at that. And there. 5 shots cluster. That one's really good. Single shot. Now, over here, just to let you know, see that? That's when I noticed the power was going down and it needed refilling. And this is when the power had just gone up after I refilled. And I was doing single shots. To be fair, one of these I pulled. But still, it's interesting to see that using single shot like this, I'd say it's definitely more accurate than using that magazine, which I think is primarily designed for slugs because of its length, 14 mil, and obviously the fact that you're getting ideally the pellets that it likes, which is 5 1s. 5 O's just drop through it, 5 1s drop through it, 5 2s periodically drop through it. So just bear that in mind. In terms of the Chrono results, here's what it got. So again, with those 5 1s, the Barracuda 9.57 grain pellets, the FTs, it got a shot count, essentially an average of 11.3 with a spread of 0.7, and it was shooting relatively consistent. So the reg, I would say, was bang on. So at this point, I was very pleased to be able to do the retest on the rifle once the power had been adjusted, and it came back shooting bang on. Now what I want to do with this rifle, in fairness, is take it and use it on the bull run at Atherton Indoor Range. Now they have their 30 targets at 30 yards. See who gets the best score. Now with this scope on that rifle, I want to see what this rifle can do. And I want to be able to, okay, I'll probably single shot these pellets again through there, which I did find awkward. And that's the only gripe I've got now is if I'm doing essentially bench resting for this rifle because of its length, I wouldn't necessarily use the magazine. Ideally, this thing would have some form of single shot tray or device, which would facilitate it being used in more bench rest capacity, especially because of its length. I think when that comes out, and if it doesn't impact the accuracy, then I think this will be absolutely superb as a bench rest rifle, especially considering its length. If you are thinking about this as a tool for pest control, then I would definitely opt for a smaller, one of the smaller barrel lengths. Because this, as I said, is one of the, if not the longest rifle I've tested, either with or without the silencer. But overall, this rifle is a quality piece of equipment. It is definitely up there in terms of its rigor, in terms of how superb it is and how the build quality just exudes, something special when you pick it up. But just bear in mind that at this stage, it's early doors with the Epic 2, and you're going to have to do some pellet testing to find out which pellet your particular barrel likes. And then from there, be mindful that ideally, if you are using pellets, the specific size will have an impact because of the magazine. If you're using it for slugs, though, that's another matter. And again, that's something that I've not done nor had time to do. And given the context of time, I would have liked to have tested slugs through this just to see how it would have performed within that barrel. The other thing I want to comment on is that this particular rifle has so much adjustability. A lot of it we don't get to see in sub 12 in the UK, but obviously abroad, in terms of being able to adjust its power and being able to adjust the different features with the rifle, then you have those options available to you, which adds to its benefits. I think that pretty much concludes my review of this rifle. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it. I like it a lot. That's one way to describe it. Again, a huge shout out, thank you to the guys at Vector Air who kindly loaned me this rifle for review. Once again, as a reminder, they'll be at the Great British Shooting Show, which is Friday the 23rd through to Sunday the 25th of February in Birmingham at the NEC. They'll have their stand, which I think is as soon as you walk in, you turn right and keep going, and they're on the right hand side. They also have some shooting lanes, so you can try out the Epic 2, come down and try it out, and try out some of the other rifles that they have on offer. I'll periodically go and visit the guys over there because I'll be at the shooting show on Friday. Friday the 23rd, and hopefully on the 24th, let's see. So if you do see me, please come over and say hi. And it would be great to see you, because I said I'll keep making these videos if you keep watching them. Please stay tuned to the channel for some upcoming reviews. I'll be doing the follow-up of the Caliber Gun Snipe, and also some overviews and reviews of some brand new kit, which I can't tell you about yet, but it's on the way and it's super exciting. But for now, thank you very much. Take care. See you soon. And see you soon. Bye.